Magdalene's Vlog 25. The spring festival came and went. We'd heard that Marcellus probably wouldn't be able to be there because he was away with his legion. He only joined Antioch city garrison for portions of the year. I confess I was a bit disappointed. When it came to the springtime rites, Apollonius, which was the name of the autumn Adonis who Bel had included in my acceptance ritual, singled me out because of the unfinished business between us. In some ways, he was the last person I'd wanted to be with. He and dozens of others had issued from a low dark tent representing the underworld set up on the festive ground. All dressed in short white tunics, each of this troop of young men started hunting out the partner they wanted from the large throng that was processing around the tent in a loosely winding dance. Spring had come, and Apollonius was leading it out. And with a rush of mixed feelings, I realized he had noticed me and was seeking me through the dancing throng. I expect I should have been grateful. He was not unpleasant to be with, but I hoped that he didn't think that there was something special between us. There wasn't. It was difficult, because I found his expectations did make him behave arrogantly, though I knew he wasn't really. I had seen him when his guard was down, but now I had to look hard to find that newborn Adonis that had sought the goddess's favor. On the other hand, my body did react to the attentions he was giving when he had got me away from the dance, beyond the bushes. Kissing me, in an embrace with one arm, his other hand was moving over my front, giving firm caresses around my breasts and lighter ones over them, pulling a reaction that I couldn't deny. He continued to probe my body's softnesses, whose responses swept me along, a knee between my legs, hitching up the front of my dress, and his hand sliding up my inner thigh, triggering a surge of sweetness that drew me to follow. This didn't feel right, though. I was a priestess, trained for the goddess's service, yet now apparently just a plaything of this man's lust. I called to Aphrodite to aid me, to give me the strength I needed. Apollonius's hands were now grasping my buttocks, and his urgent phallus was pressing against me through his tunic. His need was obvious, and this helped me to take control, to place this whole encounter upon her altar. My sweetness was her gift. His desire for me must become for her. I had the strength and the training, and I used it. Firmly parrying Apollonius's advance, I turned it back to him. My hands traced the paths on his body as I had been taught, his back, his sides, his belly, taking his one-pointed desire and spreading it through his body, kissing his face, his lips, his eyelids, bringing him to greater heights of unexpected possibilities. Apollonius became pliant to my wishes, with a vulnerability pleasing to the goddess, turning his overwhelming desire into some kind of offering aching to be accepted. And in my own time I took him within me and let him give all he had, my hand caressing the back of his neck as his body thrust and thrust into me, quite soon loosing a stream of sobs and fluid convulsions. It was easier and more pleasant than I could have hoped. I did not feel used or abused, but rather that my goddess had been served. The day was warm, and we were at ease with ourselves, lying close on the couch within one of Aphrodite's shrines. I remembered how Bel had sported with Apollonius at the autumn festival, with us neophytes watching from behind a drape. Now I thought to do the same, and once he had rested, I resumed my attentions, slowly and carefully bringing him to an ecstasy again, and managing to collect some of his semen in one of the cloths with Hecate's symbols on it. Inwardly I rejoiced that this first assignment, the hardest, had been successfully accomplished. The spring festivities were held all around the city, with many venues involved. There were competitive events where the young men strove against each other at running, throwing, and wrestling, and another place where chariots were raced as well as horses without chariots, and of course the feasting and dancing spread throughout the town. Apollonius was one of the most skilled wrestlers, and he assumed that I would watch his assault on the championship. And though I was comfortable enough with him, his assumptions and expectations still rather grated on me. I did not want to be paraded around as his personal trophy, but needed to find a way of releasing myself from him. I was a priestess and not his trophy. We saw a few of my other friends in our festive ground, and we went to join them. Helena was sitting with one of the young Zoroastrians, who we had met at Caspar and Sarita's party. She looked really pretty, like a true spring flower, and she told me that Aela, her sister, had been claimed by Crippa. Carrying on, leaving the festive ground, we headed for the garrison barracks, where the wrestling tournament was being held.